Subscribe to his YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you never miss any update.
Hello everyone, welcome to the 6th edition of Facebook Live Ask Me Anything series hosted by Inc42. I am Aparna from Inc42 team and we're live from Delhi today. For today's session, we bring to you a very vibrant entrepreneur who got frustrated with people's complaints and started a blog on Tumblr to let others discover the liveliness of her hometown Delhi. And today it is a full-fledged platform that reaches out to over 2 million users every month through its app and the website. So please join me in welcoming Suchita Salwan, the founder of local discovery platform Little Black Book, or LBB as it's famously known. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
You can drop in your questions for Suchita in the comment section, and we'll start with the first question, Suchita. So LBB gives a curated cultural and lifestyle guide for cities Delhi, Gurgaon, Goa, Mumbai, Pune, Kolkata. So what was the growth like in the first 6 months or till the 1 year period? And what were the organically growth, the measures that you adopted for growing organically? So
Got it.
Over to you.
Awesome. So I think, when LBB started out, our core has always been to not just give you information, but also encourage you to share, information or insights that you might have about your city, about your location, via LBB as a platform. So the way we describe ourselves is local recommendations and discoveries platform. And if you check out our web or if you check out our app, you can share your local discoveries and local recommendations yourself as well. And I think that's actually what led to our growth in the first 6 months. A lot of what we saw at LBB was that our users were so happy to share unique places, services, or events that they were finding in their city. And that actually helped us not just bring them onto the platform, but also tap into their network and pull their network into LBB. I think the other two, huge sort of contributors for growth for us was we've always been a consumer to business platform, which basically means the authenticity of information that you find on LBB is likely to be much, much more than any other platform, because at the end of the day, our prerogative is to guide you, the consumer, to the most unique places, services, and events around you. So short answer to that question would be our growth still till today, about 80 to 85% of it continues to be organic, and the reason why we're able to grow so swiftly, organically has been because of the power of community, because of the power of information, and the power of creating a product that people actually care about and want to use. And what I'm going to start doing is looking at the questions that are popping up and answering those. Ulas asks, what do you look for when you hire at LBB? So we actually have core values that we've defined for ourselves at Little Black Book. And anyone who we hire, the first and foremost criteria is they need to match the core values that LBB has. One of which, is my favorite, is hustle. The second one is be an owner, not a renter. The third one is stay curious, so always learn. The fourth one is share your greatness, which basically means, when something goes right, when something is worth celebrating, don't take the credit yourself, share it with your colleagues. And really, working with people who inculcate these core values and also extend these core values to the work that they do is the most important criteria for us to hire. I think, of course, as you scale as a startup, your hiring decisions become a lot tougher because, as you sort of go, the skills that we needed to grow from 100,000 users a month to 2 million users a month versus what's needed to grow from 2 million users a month to 20 million users a month the skill and the prowess and the experience required, obviously changes. So now a lot of our hiring decisions, are based on experience, are based on the question that has this person, taken on this challenge before. But irrespective of how senior, junior, however we might define a hire, they have to adhere to the core values that our company has. And I think that's the one thing I've learned the hard way, which is you can hire the brightest bulb that's out there, but but they might turn out to be a tube light if they aren't really inspired by the same stream of thought that you as a company are inspired by. Okay, Chintya asks. Hey, how did you grow your audience among millennials? Millennials are actually the hardest to impress, and I can happily say this because I'm a millennial as well. We have like the smallest attention span on this planet, so it's this cool, shiny object today, and then there's that cool shiny object tomorrow. At LBB, we pride ourselves on 2 data points. One is retention, so we've been able to retain our audiences over a period of time has been unparalleled compared to what other organizations and other technology media platforms see. So I think for us, the first and the most important thing as far as retention of millennials is concerned is always keep the focus on what their problem is. When LBB just started out, you pretty much found discoveries around food and drinks and events. Today, you want a tailor, you want a house cleaning service. You want someone who can come home and create an at-home salon for you. You want to find out about activities. You want to find out about local travel, no matter what you're interested in. In fact, you can search yak cheese on LBB and you'll find recommendations for yak cheese. So I think a lot of what we've done is we've sort of grown with our audience. We've grown with their interests. We are very cognizant of the fact that millennials don't just eat and drink, they do a lot more with their time and their money. And being a platform that enables you to, give millennials access to information that they can use every day has helped us continue to stay relevant, to millennials. Sailesh, who said, what were the biggest initial hurdles to building your business and how did you overcome them? I think for us, the biggest sort of issues, it's buffering, That's fine, right? Okay. I think for us, the biggest initial hurdles were, pretty much what any business, or any entrepreneur faces. The first and foremost being, how do you get the right people to join you, and how do you inspire the right caliber of people to come in, become a part of, what you do and what your company is about. I think that was one huge, sort of issue that we guys ran into. Earlier. I don't know if I should just... Yeah. Cool. So I think for us, the one big challenge was hiring. I think any entrepreneur or any company always faces that issue, whether it's us or, it's the biggest companies in our country. And I think, solving for hiring is this like lifelong process. As your company scales, the kind of people you need to work with also need to change, or evolve over a period of time. So I think that was one challenge. I think the second challenge was I come from a non-technical background, and fortunately, I was lucky enough to find the co-founder 2.5 years ago who joined us to head product and growth for LBB, who is an engineer, has a degree in information systems, has gone to one of the best colleges in the world. I think until bringing him on board, a lot of the technical issues were also being addressed by me. So in the middle, I had to learn how to code, which I mean is always interesting and fun, but you kind of want to work with people who have a complementary skill and can help you grow that complementary skill out. So I think that was one big challenge for me, which is how do I get the right co-founder on board? How do I get the right team on board? I think the second big challenge was putting the product together. I think, to be honest with you guys, I think our product came together only late last year, which was when we opened the platform out and when we enabled everyone, whether it's you who's watching us or our 2 million users, to share their recommendations, through LBB. And I think that for us was really a game changer because, now the amount of information we see coming through our systems on a day-to-day basis is like absolutely insane. So I think I think the product coming together took time, but the one thing that I've learned is honestly, you just need to be dedicated to the problem that you want to solve. Your solution to it might change over a period of time. Your product will evolve as you get customer insight, as consumers also change their demands and their preferences. However, what you need to be married to is not your solution. What you need to be married to is the problem that you want to solve. Because your solution can totally evolve and change over a period of time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'll move on to the next question because I spent a lot of time on that. Hi Suchita, at what stage do we seek for funding? With an idea or with a product or with a ready product? Let me know. Oh, yes. Two things, Tridit, is the success or failure of you as an entrepreneur or you as an enterprise should not be dedicated by funding. Funding is a means to an end; it's not the end in itself. And I think a lot of what would be really important and amazing for us to do as an ecosystem is change the dialogue from how much money have you raised to which VCs invested in you towards being what is the value that you as an entrepreneur or you as an enterprise are creating. And I think those are more important questions to answer as compared to when one should think about funding, so on and so forth. However, in my context, we raise money about 2.5 years since I quit my job at the BBC to work on LBB full time. So we were bootstrapped for about 2 years before I got through to come on board and before we pitched to our first set of investors. I think the reason why it took me 2 years to actually go out there in the market was because two reasons. One, I was 23 and honestly I had no real ambitions to become an entrepreneur. Fortunately, I stumbled upon a career that solves a problem that I'm deeply, wholly passionate about. However, I think, only go and raise money once you are 2000% sure that you're happily dedicating a significant portion of your life towards the product that you're creating. Starting up sounds really cool. It sounds like a lot of fun. It gives you a great high when you walk into a big office with a lot of colleagues and a great team. It's exhilarating knowing that 2 million users are using your product every month to discover, from over 30,000 locally based businesses. However, only raise money when you know that, come hail, snow, sunshine, whatever, I'm going to see this through and I'm in it to win it. So once you have that confidence from within you, go out there. Anyone, who can see that passion, that vigor, that enthusiasm in your eyes, and in your heart, will come through. However, if you yourself are unconvinced about what you want to build and what you want to create, don't go and raise money then. The next question comes from Mansi Khanna, which is, what is LBB's revenue model? Are there other sources of inflow apart from advertising? So currently our revenue model is based on ad revenue. How that works is a couple of things, similar to other tech media enterprises, whether it's like Facebook, Google, Instagram, the likes, in your feed, so on your LBB feed, whether it's web or app, you will see promoted posts. However, promoted posts make for less than 5% of what you see and what you consume on LBB. So every single day you actually have over 200 new recommendations to choose from across LBB. In a month, you have easily about 3,000 to 5,000 new recommendations to choose from as far as LBB is concerned, and there's less than 5% of that which is led through advertisement and led through brands. We've had the pleasure and the fortune of supporting some of the largest brands and the smallest brands in our country. So everyone from a small yoga teacher, a yoga teacher with a small studio, to a local restaurant, to brands in the general league and caliber of Jet Privilege, Amazon, Vivo, Adidas, Reebok, Nike, so on and so forth, have promoted themselves via LBB. But that's what we have right now. Going forward, you will see a lot of closer connects in between the funnel that we've created at LBB, which is information to intent to transaction. So currently LBB sits in the purview of helping you find relevant information and capturing your intent. Going forward, a lot of what you'll see happen on LBB is you'll be able to acquire the products, services, places or events that you like or that you've saved on LBB much more quickly than you're able to do right now. But more on that when we're closer to making an announcement around that, which I'm sure you'll find out first on Inc42. Okay, next one is from Varun Sani. How easy, difficult was it to raise funding as a woman entrepreneur? So two things. One, I'm actually, to be honest, pretty. I have like a bit of a buffer because my co-founder is male and he's, and his background is tech and product. So I haven't had challenges as such. We've been fortunate enough to raise, about 10 crores from stalwarts like Rajan Anandan, Sachin Bhatia, IDG Ventures, as well as Indian Angel Network. There hasn't been a challenge as such being a female entrepreneur. However, as I'm sure everyone watching this live session would know, the ecosystem goes through its highs and lows, and I think the past year and a half has been particularly challenging as far as fundraising is concerned. But fortunately, our growth, not only from a consumer perspective but also from a product and a revenue perspective, has been remarkable. And we've been lucky enough, and we worked very, very hard to be backed by some of the best investors that our country has. The next question is from Khushbu. What have been some of the effective ways for LBB to retain their employees? I think for us, the most effective way for employee retention is personal and professional growth. I think one of the few companies where one-on-ones happen every 1 to 3 months. So every 1 to 3 months, you have an opportunity to sit down with either me or with Dhruv, or with a senior member of our team, and really address new challenges that are coming your way, or personal growth and personal development that you want to see for yourself. And I think at the end of the day, if you really want people to stay with you, two things: you need to value them, and your value for them needs to show through you supporting them. No matter what personal or professional challenges that they're going through, and I think doing that is half the battle won. The next question is from Abhishek Mishra, which is, how do you build your team? I think for us, team building, again, like I said, has changed from what we had to do earlier to what we're having to do right now. We went from 0 to 30 colleagues, and then we went from 30 colleagues to 55, 60 colleagues, and now we're going through an additional sort of round of hiring as we scale our presence, as we scale technology and product for LBB. And I think how we build our team is, again, like I said, by first and foremost making sure that everyone is bound by the same core values. So even the engineers at LBB, they love going out and exploring their city. One of our engineers, he is super passionate about trekking, and he recently recommended a trek that he went for on LBB itself. So I think all of us in general are people who we love exploring cities. We're passionate about local businesses. We like finding unique places, services, and events to share on LBB. And I think just making sure your team is bound by the same glue is a great strategy to build your team. Rajdeep Singh, which is, what are the future plans for LBB in the next 1 to 2 years? What direction are you taking LBB in? And I'll just have a sip of water. So Rajdeep, our plans for LBB for the next 1 to 2 years is really owning India as a market, from both a local businesses perspective as well as consumer perspective. So we want to make sure that we reach out to urban millennial audiences that exist across India, and also solve pain points across all their local interests that they may have. Whether they want to pick up a new skill, like they want to learn how to play the guitar, to they want to go for a cookery class, to they want to discover a great restaurant, to a local travel trip that they want to take. So over the next 2 years, we definitely want to be the de facto destination of choice for millennials in our country to make local discoveries and to recommend local businesses that they really love and believe in on a platform like LBB. I don't think we're solving an India only problem. I think we're solving a problem that's faced by any millennial, anywhere in the world. And the next year, in fact, will see us branch out to markets that are in the APAC region, and going after millennial audiences that exist in the APAC region. Another big, push for us will also be on how do we connect you with the local business with much more efficiency than we're able to do right now. And that's another feature and launch that you can expect from LBB sometime soon. So we're in 7 markets right now. We expect to be in at least 20 additional markets by the end of next year, including some international markets as well. So yeah, a lot of sleepless nights and long flights for LBB. The next question is Guru Ji Dutt. How can I promote my brand on social media? So I think social media is a bit of a double-edged sword, which is it's a super immersive platform. I mean, I'm having a AMA on Facebook Live. I am, for Inc42, and I think the good thing and the bad thing about social media is consumers have, the experience just keeps you hooked onto the product. It's really difficult to wean people off of a Facebook and wean people off of an Instagram. So I think if you really want to build your product through social media, the key is there's a lot of noise on social media. You need to be doing something that helps you stand out and that helps you stand apart from what everyone else is doing. And I think the second big thing is, at the end of the day, social media should be a means to an end, and that's just my opinion. It's not an end in itself. While it is important to have presence on social media, I think at the end of the day, your metric of success should be defined to are people actually coming to your product. So yes, LBB has a Facebook page, but we aren't doing what we do because we want to have a cool Facebook page. We're doing what we do because we want you to come to our web. We want you to download the app. We want you to discover local businesses, through a platform like LBB. And just making sure that you have the right metric that you're evaluating when you're on social media is half the battle won. So please, get onto Instagram, get onto Twitter, get onto Facebook. They're very, very powerful tools, especially in today's day and age. However, don't forget that they are means to an end. They should not be the end in themselves. Tanushri Barua, who says, how did you go ahead with your digital marketing strategy? So, Dhruv, who's our co-founder, leads a lot of the growth in digital marketing strategy for us. I think the key really is in keeping it simple. Especially when you're an early stage startup, you can't own every platform. You can't be king of Instagram, king of Twitter, king of Facebook, king of SEO, king of LinkedIn Pulse. You can't do everything at the same point in time. And I think really figuring out what platforms work for you and using those to your advantage makes a lot more sense than trying to do everything and making a hot mess out of it all. So for instance, Twitter for LBB is great for brand presence, but it's a really small percentage of the traffic that we get. SEO, for instance, has been absolutely the best way for us to acquire organic traffic, onto LBB. Facebook, for instance, is a great way to ensure relevance, and engagement with your audience. If we had to do everything and if we had to own every single channel, honestly, we'd really, make a royal mess of it all. So I think the key really is, keep it simple, figure out those 2 to 3 channels that work really well for you and own those. While running smaller experiments parallelly, don't try doing too much. We made the mistake of trying to do too much and, being the king of Instagram and Twitter and this, that and the other, but honestly, it's impractical. You'll be jack of all trades, master of none, and especially when it comes to digital media, the worst thing that you can do is be liked. You don't want to be liked, you want to be loved. So figure out that one platform that will help you drive the maximum amount of consumer love and really own that platform. And again, define your metrics of success. So, we might have 1 million odd likes on Facebook, but we have, over 2.5 million users using LBB every single month. And I think, don't fall into the traps that digital media has to offer. Really figure out what you want to own and go after that with a vengeance. Okay, the next one is from Madhukar. Influencer marketing or social media pushes, how would you rank these two in your space? I think, so two things, because we're an open platform and anyone can create content on LBB, we've been able to create our own influencers on our platform. So we have easily a couple of thousand users who post very diligently on LBB, and those have become the influencers on our platform. So for us, influencer marketing isn't really about getting influencers from other platform onto LBB. It's more of creating our own influencers on our platform. I think depending on the nature of your business, so given our business, I think social media push has a larger impact than influencer marketing does, at least the scale that we're at. I think influencer marketing is great when you're just about starting out or you're launching a new product. But if you're in tech media, then the key really is in actively owning social media and trying to attract as many users as possible to your platform. Ashwin asks, is there an opening in the travel section where I can venture into unseen and insane places across Maharashtra? You can definitely post on LBB, so just download our app or open our website and tap the plus button, and if you found a destination that you want to recommend on LBB, just tap the plus button and recommend, and we'll be happy to feature it on LBB. Anna Jerry asks, what would you suggest as a digital marketing strategy for natural products like natural deodorant that I am prototyping? I want to build a business around it. That sounds like a super interesting business. And what I would suggest as a digital marketing strategy is, if you want to own digital marketing, honestly, you need to understand what content makes your consumer tick. So if you go and tell a consumer, hey, you smell, use my deodorant, chances are they'll, that's not the best message to send out. So I think the key really is in trying to connect with your consumers on a very human level, making them feel good about themselves or offering them knowledge, that they didn't have otherwise through digital marketing. So if I were you, I'd think about storytelling around your natural deodorants. I think about ways in which you can make something, something as interesting as natural deodorants sound a lot more, exciting towards the consumer. At the end of the day, people want to engage, people want to comment, people want to have a voice in your product. So how do you create a digital marketing strategy that helps others have a voice in your product is what I would focus on. The next question is, content marketing depends largely on SEO. Until recently, long tail keywords and keyword planning were believed to be the fastest ways to acquire organic traffic. What kind of SEO practices does LBB follow? So fortunately for us, where LBB lies isn't in the short tail of SEO, it lies in the medium to long tail of SEO, which basically means you don't come to LBB to find the most popular places that you already know about. You come to LBB to find, to answer questions that, you may not have easy answers to. So something as simple as, hey, what are the top 5 stores in Lajpat Nagar? To, hey, I'm in Karol Bagh, where's a great place that I can go eat at? To, I'm in Gurgaon, what are the 10 quick getaways from Gurgaon? These usually make up a medium to long tail of searches as far as Google is concerned. And I think the key as far as SEO is concerned is, again, really defining the value proposition that you want to drive home to your consumer, right? So even with LBB, our strategy has been, don't play in territory that other people are already really good at, because that's a losing battle, and there's no point wasting resources on owning topics or owning territories that other people are really good at. I think it's important to figure out what is my brand message, what's the communication that I'm trying to drive home, and even if it's a channel like SEO, how can I use SEO as a channel to drive that value proposition home? And that should be what defines your strategy. So don't think of SEO as independent to your business. If SEO is a growth parameter and a growth vehicle for you, make sure that SEO is also an extension of the value proposition that your company or that your business has. Mayank Singhal, what's the best marketing hack you've ever implemented for LBB? So I think marketing hack is like a really shitty word to use, because if anything was a hack, like everyone would be doing it and then it wouldn't be a hack anymore. I think the best the best marketing advice that I can give to you is anyone who looks at marketing outside of product is looking at marketing in the wrong way. At the end of the day, and Andrew Chen, who's the head of growth for Uber, says this really well, right? Which is marketing at the end of the day is a microscope. If you put a microscope on top of a piece of shit, it'll just look like a bigger piece of shit. But if you put, I can say that on Facebook, okay, amazing. While if you put a microscope on top of a diamond, it just looks like a really big diamond. I think at the end of the day, you need to make sure that your product is really strong, because no matter what hack you implement or don't implement, whatever you're doing is basically for people to look at your product, through a broader lens, and that's the unsolicited marketing hack / advice that I'd give. Hey Suchita, were you confident about LBB as a community to a business? I don't really understand that question, but if you're asking me, how we were able to take LBB from being a community towards being a very fast growing enterprise, not just from a consumer perspective, but also from a business and a revenue perspective. I think, at the end of the day, if you're solving a problem that actually affects the lives of enough people, monetizing isn't difficult. And I think for us, we don't look at monetizing as outside of what our value proposition is. If our value proposition is genuinely helping local businesses attract new consumers and new customers that they didn't have before until they were featured on LBB, and if that is value that we're being able to create, then we should be able to capture the value that we create. And at the end of the day, that's what a business model is, right? It's just a way for you to capture value that you create, and as long as you're creating value, if you're capturing it, there's no problem at all. However, if you aren't creating value and you're still trying to, you're trying to make something out of nothing at all, then that's where the problem arises. Pooja Serene, what's up, Pooja? Asks me, since content is becoming a cluttered space now and millennials are spoiled for choice, how do you ensure LBB's content stands out in the deluge of content providers? So the answer to that, Pooja, is really simple, which is, LBB is an open community of users, key opinion leaders, experts, and other publishers, who want to talk about local recommendations through a platform like LBB. And I think that we have made our users a part of the product has literally been the single biggest win for us, especially over the past couple of months. And I think that's basically what helps us set ourselves apart, which is please don't come to LBB because we are the self-anointed experts. Please come to LBB because you trust the community that is behind LBB, you trust the people who recommend on LBB, and also so that you can share your recommendations, and places, services, and events that you love on LBB, yourself. So I think our key to getting it right has really been in investing in our community of people who want to share places, services, and events that they love on a platform like LBB, and that's what's helped us, cut through the clutter, and also, any Me Too that comes up stays as a Me Too and can't really, compete against LBB because of the community that we built around our platform. The next question is from Pranav Oberoi. What do you think about chatbots? They are good for digital publishers, marketing, and user experience. I think again, chatbots are, one of those growth hacks that came in, and then everyone started, going on and on about chatbots and plugging in chatbots everywhere. And I think again, I think it totally comes down to implementation of chatbots, right? So what are you trying to solve by having a chatbot implemented as a part of your product? We honestly, have we tried using chatbots in the past? Not really, and I think a big reason for that was don't just jump onto a trend because everyone's jumping onto that trend. I think you need to figure out is this trend or is this marketing hack good for the value that I'm trying to create for the consumer. If the answer is yes, go for it. If no, it just give it. Every trend, and every cool new thing that comes up in the industry doesn't really have to be a part of your platform or your value proposition. Okay, last two questions. Arjun Reddy says, have you taken any U-turns in business decisions and how did you cope? Arjun, we haven't taken U-turns. I just think our product growth and development has been very, very significant, specifically in the past year. 1.5 years ago, we were, like a very close community of people who would share their recommendations on LBB. But again, like I said, today we're an open platform where everyone's invited, and of course, only the best recommendations make it to the feed. But we've opened ourselves up as a community, to bring on board new voices, new opinions to our platform. I don't think that was a U-turn. I just think it's something that our business really called for, because that's where we saw growth and revenue opportunities really coming from. I think the second thing that you will see happening sooner rather than later is the way LBB redefines what transactions as far as local businesses looks like. Again, I don't think it's a U-turn. I just think it's an extension of our value proposition, but that's one thing to watch out for. Okay, last question. Hi Suchita, how can an NGO get better at branding and visibility? Aditya, you should totally write to us. I'm at suchita@lbb.in. I'm happy to connect with one of my colleagues, and if what your NGO is doing is truly remarkable, let's recommend it on LBB, and that's step number one for you to improve your branding and visibility as far as your NGO is concerned. Other cool hacks is collaboration, specifically for NGOs, are always great. So figure out people within your network, people not just within your network but across other networks, who you can collaborate with. Everyone wants to give back, everyone wants to be a part of something that's bigger and better, and and is driving value to other people. If you crack that, I'm sure you'll be able to get better branding and visibility for you as well as your NGO.
Awesome. With that, we come to an end for this session. Thank you so much, audience, for your time and your questions. If there are a lot more questions that went unanswered, you can reach out to Suchita at lbb.in. And stay tuned to Inc42 for more live AMAs. And don't forget to download our app, guys. And stay tuned to our Inc42 Facebook page for more details. And that's all for now. And thank you so much again. Thank you, Suchita.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a happy Friday.
Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.